Hey, what's up everybody? BDO44 coming at you another video. All right, so I got a few things I want to say about yesterday's basketball game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Thunder. If y'all watched my video, which was very long, 55 minutes long, of me breaking down what I see in my mind's eye about the series ahead of time and then telling y'all a prediction for which I won't ruin here because of course I want y'all to click on that video, I guess. Ain't that how the game go? Whatever. Either way. But there were some things in that video that I thought played out pretty well in that first game. First of all, I felt that the Thunder wouldn't have any problem winning that game. And beforehand, I also said that I didn't think the Wolves should be overly concerned about losing that game. I think that the Wolves, being a team that doesn't execute very well shooting the ball to begin with, definitely did not need a whole week and a half off of rest after the last series, going into a series against a team that went Game 7. A lot of people believe in fatigue being an issue at this point in regards to playing 7 games and then immediately going into the next series. But I think while that does hold some weight, I think there's more weight to be held for too much rest leading to you having no rhythm. I think that's more of a determining factor than the lack of rest as it pertains to you not playing well. And so I expected that the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that doesn't really shoot that great to begin with, would likely come into this game cold. And they were. 88 points scored off 51 three-point shots. And that's where it brings me to my next thought about this game. There is absolutely no way the Minnesota Timberwolves, given who they are and what their issues have been shooting the ball, should be scheming themselves into shooting 51 damn shots. No fast break points. 51 three-point shots. I think they hit maybe like 12 or 13 of them, something crazy like that. That is horrible offensive output, horrible offensive strategy. I understand that Chet Holmgren is a hell of a rim protector, but you would swear to God that the Minnesota Timberwolves were preparing for a damn dragon in the paint, breathing fire on everything that went up. It's not that serious, fam. You can drive the ball and get him in foul trouble. You can drive the ball and go up against their center position. You don't have to avoid the paint at all costs against this OKC team, in my opinion. And so I just thought they severely overshot the ball. And I get it. I'm listening to a lot of people talking about how, you know, they had some good looks. That's fine, fam. Some good looks is a good thing. Some good looks is an excellent thing. Were all of those good looks? No. Should they have been attempting 51 shots based on how their shot was going? Hell no. No. They only had like 20 points in the paint, fam. That was terrible. There's no way in hell you let yourself shoot 51 three-point shots and you're only hitting like 12 of them. Minnesota was awful. Absolutely awful. And I understand that people were upset at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the whole way his whistle goes, man. I think you kind of work that into your equation. Before you even play the Thunder, you know he's going to get whistles, man. He's going to get calls. He's going to flail his legs, flail his arms. This is just what happens. If you have a problem with it, take it up with the league. File a grievance. But don't tell me that that's why Minnesota lost. Don't tell me that was what was there to see. Not in that basketball game. No, that wasn't what happened in that basketball game. What happened in that basketball game is they were way too cautious of driving into the paint and far too comfortable with shooting damn three. And they are not a good enough shooting team to even think that way. They're not a good enough shooting team to think that way, man. They're just not. Especially that damn bench. That was terrible, man. 3 of 12 for Donte DiVincenzo. Have we not talked about Donte DiVincenzo being a bricklayer throughout this entire playoff series? Throughout the entire playoffs, both series, the Lakers and the Warriors, Donte DiVincenzo couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. And you telling me you gave him the green light to shoot 12 three-point shots? You can't be serious. And then Naz Reid, he was off in that game. He shot like 8 threes, missed all of them. And then I think it was as well, Alexander Walker. I think he attempted like 8 threes and missed all of them. And then you start looking at the starters, they shot just as poorly. I think Ant was like 3 for 8. I think Conley was like 1 for 5 or something like that. somebody else was like 2 for 7 or something. I mean, like, yo, I understand that OKC's defense puts a lot of pressure on you with their length, but they steal the ball a lot. We talked about turnovers as well in the preview. Turnovers were a real problem. There was some discrepancy about how many turnovers they actually had. I think some of the stats showed 17. ESPN was showing 19. I don't really know how many turnovers the Timberwolves ended up having, but whatever it was way too many. So I just thought the Timberwolves played right into the Thunder's hands. I thought they respected them entirely too much as it pertains to their rim protection. And as a result, they forced themselves into being the I can't score Wolves, which is what I call them. Now, they've had 3 or 4 games like this in this season, these playoffs, including the game the Lakers won where they only scored, 85 points? And in this one, they scored 88 points on 51 damn 3-point shots and no fast break points. I'm just like, yo, man, do that 3 more times and the Thunder going to be in the finals for sure. You ain't got to worry about no long series. This thing going to be over quick if they keep doing that stupid crap. So I'm not one of these people to say, oh, look at Shea getting to the line. That ain't have nothing to do with what the hell happened last night. Nothing at all. And all these people talking about, oh, they had some good looks. They didn't have 51 good looks. What are we talking about? So that's really my take on that basketball game for the most part. I thought the Thunder played good on-ball defense. We talked about that being one of the greatest things that they have in their arsenal. Is their point of attack defenders being so damn gifted. And when Shea sits down, now you got to deal with Caruso and Cason Wallace, or a combination of Lou Dort and one of those people. They're a better defensive team when Shea sits down. So it's like, that's why they're so damn impossible. But that is no excuse. Zero excuse for not driving at the rim. Zero excuse. That's really my point of view, man. Zero excuse. You would swear they had 5 Wimbys out there the way Minnesota was trying to launch threes. Who do they think they are? Boston? Y'all ain't got the personnel for that. And Julius Randle, they wasted a hot shooting Julius Randle game. Julius couldn't miss. He was like 5 for 6 from behind the arc all in the first half. He didn't even shoot anymore in the second half. Like, bro, ain't nobody else even need the ball but you the way you shooting. They need to spam that until OKC figures out a way to stop it. Julius should have walked away with 60 points yesterday the way he was shooting the ball. Just idiocy. I thought they were really stupid out there, to be honest with you. Fearful and irritable too soon. Ant-Man picking up a technical foul on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander early in the first quarter because he's upset that this man's getting a foul call. Bro, if you're going to have that mentality, you already beating yourself up. If you already upset before they even tip off at the foul calls, then you definitely going to find yourself being psyched out by the midway through the third. I just thought that Ant-Man did not look very ready for this basketball game to me. He looked like he already had in his mind that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was going to get to the line 25 times. And he was already pissed about it before it even started. That coming into you can't lead your team that way. You can't lead your team already frustrated before the tip-off, bro. So I just thought Minnesota was not prepared. I thought they were not prepared. My concerns about Mike Conley are real because he does not produce enough at all to be down there going up against Caruso and Shea and some of those other guys that they're going to have at his position. I think he is so severely outclassed at this point and so severely undersized that it might be in their best interest to just not play him in this series too much. You can play him pockets at a time here and there, but no matter what, he's a mismatch. No matter what, they're going to kill him out there on both sides of the floor. I'm just being honest. So as long as he's out there, it's 4-on-5 in this series. Some series you can get away with that. In this one, no. Not against those super talented guards on both sides of the floor. Hell no, buddy. You want to sit Mike Conley in the series. And Rudy Gobert, I think that's where they went wrong. I actually think Rudy Gobert should be asked to be a scorer in this series. And we said this many times. I'm going to say it again. Rudy Gobert had 30 points in 2 of the last 5 games in the regular season. And, of course, the Game 5 closeout game against the Lakers, he went for 30-something points. You want him in the paint, drawing fouls, scoring the basketball. That's what you want. You do not want him out there just getting 2 rebounds, 1 block. If y'all not going to ask him to score the ball in this series, trying to draw some fouls against those 2 centers, you're foolish. You're foolish because if you can get some scoring out of him and force them into being foulers, get some easy buckets down there instead of all these damn threes y'all try to launch in game one, suddenly you start exposing the very few weaknesses that the OKC Thunder have, which is they are not big enough to really be dealing with you like that. If you lean into your size, they're not. They got to rely upon the success of their perimeter defense. Otherwise, those bigs are getting pushed around. Julius Randle's going to push around whoever in front of him. Their best chance of guarding him is his ex-teammate Hartenstein. And you saw how he cooked Hartenstein in that first half. He cooked him. Now, a lot of that had to do with him stepping into three-point shots and then playing off of them. But like self-awareness was the problem the whole night. Minnesota's self-awareness specifically. Julius Randle stepping into three-point shots like he's Dirk Nowitzki and they're not feeding him. Everybody but Julius shooting a three. It's like because Julius is hot, now we all want to shoot threes. But none of y'all idiots can hit a shot. A lot of the rest of you shooting. And what happened to Jaden McDaniels? He started off getting 7 quick points. I don't think he finished the game with 12 points. It's just like, yo, are we paying attention to what's working or what? Are we trying something that we seen be successful in this game ever again? Like, I really thought Minnesota was just like lacking in self-awareness, psyching themselves out, being too frustrated and too fearful, overly cautious. They were defeated before that game even started, if I'm being completely honest with you. They were defeated before that game even started. And if they keep playing like this, they're going to be gone very soon. Because it seems to me that OKC is in their head before OKC even do anything. And so I was very frustrated with Minnesota. I thought everything they was doing was pretty much working into the OKC Thunder's favor and more or less hurting themselves. I really did. I thought they were about as stupid as any team that's been all playoffs long. And I don't think that's a take that many people are giving me. I'm not hearing that in a lot of circles. Oh, SGA is fouling too much. He's getting fouled too much, rather. Oh, well, they had some nice three-point looks. I'm like, I don't know what the hell any of y'all talking about. I really don't. SGA got to the line, 5 more times? And then, the OKC Thunder got to the line, 5 more shots than the Timberwolves. And mind you, the Timberwolves wasn't even trying to drive at the basket. That wasn't what told the story at all. That was one of the more non-factors of this damn basketball game. Them turnovers told more of a story than the free throw line. And I don't want to hear nothing about a team with Rudy Gobert and freaking Dante DiVincenzo, as cold as he's been, a bricklaying as he's been, shooting no 53-point shots for any damn reason. I'm just being honest with you. I don't see any reason why that should even be possible. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I really don't. I don't know what they're thinking. But I know if they keep thinking it, they're going to be going home. I know that. So, yeah, that's what I had to say about that. That was just like, that was comical for me, too. That was truly comical. I'm sitting up there like, are they serious? They're going to really shoot another three. They're launching threes, launch, brick. We went into this series. We went into every Minnesota series because we talked about them throughout the course of these playoffs, telling people that they are a bricklaying team, that they can't shoot worth a lick. As a team, they can't shoot worth a lick. They're as inconsistent as any team left in the playoffs shooting the ball. They can't shoot. And you're going up against a great defense and you're going to launch threes? With that being your problem? Yeah, good luck with that. The only chance Minnesota has is using the people that can go downhill to drive at a OKC team that is great defensively. And which is not great odds, it's not. But what you probably want to try to do is drive at them in transition. You want to force steals against OKC, and you want to get out in transition and drive at them before they're able to set up their defense in any way. You got to beat them on the get back, and you have to make damn sure that you control the glass. That's what Minnesota's responsible for. Anything else that has them shooting the ball like Boston is going to have them out of here. You got to draw fouls. You got to beat them at their game. Their game is point of attack, defense, turn it into offense and transition. What you need to do, and you have the personnel to do it, is the same damn thing. And beat them at it. Because guess what? They got the same weakness you got. They can't shoot either. They can't shoot a lick. But they were smarter to say, we're not going to try to. We're going to drive. We're driving, we're going to try to get to the line. We're going to get our buckets in transition. We're going to get our buckets in the paint. While y'all launching a bunch of threes like some idiots, only scoring 88 points doing so, we're going to invert that entirely and just lean into our principles for good point of attack defense, turn them into steals and transition buckets. And that's what OKC did. They played a simple, decent basketball game, balanced of mind and body. I mean, it wasn't, I don't think they burnt the world down yesterday. I just thought they played a solid basketball game. But when the other team go wig the hell out like Minnesota did, yeah, that's what, it's going to be pretty easy to win. Pretty easy to win. I'm a big believer in Terrence Shannon. You guys know this, but he's a rookie. He may not be able to hold on to the basketball in this series. But I do think that how powerful of a runner he is and how powerful of a downhill sprinter he is, something that needs to be utilized in this series a little bit if he can manage to not turn the ball over, which I don't have any data of, but understanding what type of defensive players that would be guarding him have concerns that would probably be the issue. His inexperience and his ability and ultimately the potential of him turning the ball over a lot, just missteps that come from being a rookie up against elite defense could potentially be what keeps you from playing him. But you got to play him to his strengths, which is getting out in transition and attacking these guys quicker than they're able to set up their defense. And hopefully with your power in his run, drawing fouls. You got to draw fouls. You got to get your SGA, you got to get J-Dub, you got to get Chet Holmgren. All of these people need to get in foul trouble regularly. And I understand they don't really like using Ant-Man to drive too much for some strange reason. I think it probably isn't that strange at all, actually, since he's having ankle issues. He did twist that ankle in that last game. But their best bet is using him as a foul drawer and a three-point play guy. All his three-point launching, he may want to take some shots in rhythm. He's such a talented force. You definitely want him to feel comfortable shooting the ball. But some of these other players, if they're cold and he's cold and they end up jacking up 53s, you wish you had some of those possessions back for him rushing at people drawing fouls, or at least attempting to. Chet Holmgren is a hell of a rim protector. But I promise you, man, I can push him around. Like, literally. I can push him around because he don't got no strength. He's tiny. He's a skinny dude, very thin, frail like dude. So it's like, it's one of those situations where I'm having Juju and Ant-Man and who else like to put the ball on the ground? Naz Reid. I'm having him rush at this dude. If he blocks a shot, he blocks a shot. But we're going to be trying to draw bodies with him. And if he gets verticality and he blocks a shot, so be it. But I'd rather take my chances with that. With our personnel, I'd rather take my chances with that than asking non-shooters to launch threes. Like that. I was listening to somebody, I don't remember who it was, it might have been Bill Simmons, saying that he felt that they were shooting threes, or maybe it was his guest. On his program, they were essentially saying they were shooting threes with a certain quickness about them because they were trying to keep the defense from setting up. With those long, lengthy defenders that OKC has, they were just launching the best threes they could because they felt if they worked the ball around, they would get a worse look. I think that's accredited. I agree with that, and I think it's accredited to OKC having such phenomenal, lengthy defensive players that they've done a great job of putting on their roster. However, if you could think like that in regards to finding three-point shots, you need to just invert that thought and think like that in regards to getting in downhill. It's all about trying to be quicker than their defense can set up. And ultimately attacking that pencil in the paint that is Chet Holmgren. You got to attack him, man. If he gets 8 blocks and they don't call any fouls, I would rather that be what we dealing with than me just launching a bunch of threes with people that ain't going to hit them, bro. I'd never, when I say never, I will never in this life, with all due respect to a guy who has had some good success at shooting the ball in past seasons, I will never in this life need Dante DiVincenzo to attempt 12 threes. Never. Never. As soon as Donte DiVincenzo understands that he can't shoot a damn lick, the sooner the Minnesota Timberwolves will be able to utilize him to their strengths and not their weaknesses, because he's going to need to be on the floor. He's going to need to be on the floor. But 3'12" for him, those are possessions that need not go by the wayside. And given the fact that he ain't been able to hit nothing all playoffs long, there is absolutely no reason anyone with some self-awareness as a unit is going to allow that dude to shoot that many threes for any freaking reason. Open or not, no. Hell no. He's a bricklayer. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, not much different. Not much different. Unfortunately, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is not much different, man. We got you on the floor for your defense. So the last thing I need you doing is launching 8 threes and missing all of them when the other guy you next to is launching 12 threes and hitting 3 of them. I don't need it. No. The Western Conference Finals, that's what you're doing on the road against the best team in basketball? Hell no. I'm just not hearing enough people irritated by their approach to this basketball game. I'm not seeing enough people irritated with their approach to their offense. It was terrible. You can't win that way, especially against elite defense. When you respect your opponent too much and you don't test them out at all to see if they're going to execute as well as everyone says they do, and you start working around that process out of fear, you get what the Minnesota Timberwolves approached that basketball game with yesterday. And I'm telling you, they will not win a single game in this series if they're already psyched out mentally. And that's what I sensed. And if I'm OKC, I smell blood. I smell blood. Because this team is scared of us, is what I'm saying if I'm OKC after game 1. They terrified of us. The concept, the idea of us is what's in their head. It's not even what we've proven against them. They just scared. And because of that, we can just play average and beat the hell out of them. They're going to beat themselves. So that's what I saw yesterday. I don't know what the hell everybody else is looking at. Talk about SGA flailing his arms and his legs. Congratulations to him getting MVP. That was announced about an hour ago. I don't think I'm influenced much by the national perception of him. I just think I independently am not a fan of him. I think if everybody else liked SGA, I'd still not really love SGA. I don't think I even really was aware that people didn't like SGA that much until recently. Till pretty recently. But I'm not a big fan. I don't know, man. I don't know why that is. And I think it's rather a recent opinion too, because going into last season, I didn't feel that way about him. I was very enamored with his stats and the way that he plays and all that. And his mid-range jumper is fun. But I, like everyone else, am highly irritated by the flailing of the arms and the legs. The foul hunting and the foul baiting. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. The facial expressions and all that con man stuff is just, I know it's how you win, and the object of the game is to win, and until somebody figures out the con, you can continue to run the con. But I'm of the mindset that I don't have to like it just because that's your strategy. And so that's why I have a problem with that player. I don't necessarily think that he's as entertaining to watch because of the idea that he's continuing to hunt for fouls, just like everybody else. That's truly how I feel about him. But like I said, until somebody figures out the con, you're going to keep running it to win the game. I don't think he's interested in us being pleased with him or entertaining us. I think he's more interested in winning. But it does get a little ridiculous when he gets certain foul calls with his mouth scrunched up a certain way and his legs flailing out. It's disingenuous, and it's the NBA's responsibility to enforce the technical foul rule that they have in place to deter flopping. And if they're not going to do that, then I don't see any reason for him to stop doing what he's doing. He should keep on conning the game until they figure out a way to stop him from doing it, or until somebody cares enough to stop him from doing it. And for that, I respect SGA a whole lot. I don't like him too much, but I respect him a lot because he knows what it takes to win, and he's going about the process of trying to make it happen. It's the same thing I feel about Trae Young when he does it. Same thing I feel about Jalen Brunson when he does it. But it's a little different when Shea does it. This is a little more extra oomph on it, it seems, just by way of his style and how he plays. He's just doing a little more than maybe seems like other people are doing. But foul baiting is a problem in this league with a lot of stars. And he is, unfortunately, at this point, the face of it, especially after winning that trophy today. So, I don't know, man. I think a lot of people don't like OKC because they're a young team as well that are pretty confident in themselves. Some people think that is cocky. I don't know. Young team hasn't won anything. I don't want to get tired of them before they win anything, you know what I mean? For me, I get tired of teams after they win their second championship, and I'm like, all right, I want to see somebody else win unless it's my team. But, you know, it takes a little while to get fatigued. I think people are already getting fatigued before they even win their first championship, which is kind of unfortunate for them because, or for us rather, if we're feeling that way, because they're probably going to win a lot, especially how many first-round picks they got going forward, along with everything else they already got on the team now. So if you think OKC is done, they're just getting started. At any rate, that's my point of view, man. Once again, congratulations to him for getting MVP. I think the love for Jokic is also something that kind of weighs against some of the fans. A lot of us know damn well Jokic has had one of the best seasons anyone's ever seen. And I think voter fatigue has kind of gotten in the way of Jokic. People want to see somebody else win it. And I do think that there's a conversation to be had about how Jokic probably deserved MVP this year, but that's not to say that Shea didn't, you know. So this is another one of those Shaq versus Steve Nash type of things. It could have went anywhere. Karl Malone versus Michael Jordan when Karl won it that year. It probably should have went the other way, but hey, man, you know, whatever. So that's my take on that. At any rate, we'll see what happens with Game 2 tomorrow, man. They didn't space these games out very much either, which is dangerous for trying to make adjustments in this series. They made it so that you're going to see the next game, a day apart pretty much all series long. That is terrible. Because if you got a guy who's trending downward because he's missing a bunch of shots, he ain't about to shake out of that slump in 24 hours. If you got a guy who rolled an ankle and now he got to miss a week, he's going to miss the whole damn series. So I think the schedule of this situation is bad. It's bad. But what I would tell you is you can't get too excited about having a big lead in this series. You're up 2-1, 3-1. You could blow that. The roll of an ankle could turn the tide on your situation because there's so little time in between each game. And so this is something I think is going to determine the series. And these are two of the healthiest teams in the NBA, so you would like to think that they stay that way. But Anthony Edwards tweaking his ankle in that first game does leave me a little hesitant to feel confident about Minnesota, on top of the fact that they dropped the first game. So that's the type of thing that could really be more of a problem because there's no space in between these games. So yeah, man, that's my point of view. I just think the Minnesota Timberwolves played about as stupid of a basketball game as humanly possible going into a series where they had a week and a half to schedule a game plan. I think they scheduled their game plan overthinking the strengths of the OKC Thunder, probably watching too much footage of OKC being successful and anticipating needing to prevent that success without forcing OKC to prove that they were going to do that stuff against them. And when you come in with your game plan centered around fears and hypotheticals, you're going to get beat. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.